and beat Gambit with it. I think he was saying it's great to see that Aatrox pick. There's the Fierce ban, there's the Ari ban, Zed being removed as well, Misfortune from Genja, Zac being removed. So far, Aatrox is available. So far, Sona's available. Twisted Fate's out there. Shen's out there. There's a lot of top picks that the people would recommend. Thresh has been banned. What will Gambit go with?
The world is their oyster, and giving Shen to Darien is definitely a great pickup. And I think this is a good pick here because it can counter Shen.
Whew,
in a 1v1 setup, that's definitely going to work well. And it's something, you know, we've been seeing these guys all weekend long. I don't think anybody's surprised by the Sona, by the Twisted Fate. The thing is, this is global, global, global. I know Diamondprox hasn't played it, but I would love to see him play Nocturne and just have that global, in your face, let's go, go, go.
Everybody in there, but it seems it will be Genja's Varus that's going to get selected. As soon as Misfortune was taken away, they went for it. Does that mean Twisted Fate will, Twitch could come out for Yellowpete again? Sona alongside him, Vayne available as well.
I like the Twitch pickup a little bit more because of how it can synergize with the Crescendo and with the AoE that can come down from Aatrox, especially if somebody gets locked in by that Jarvan. Snoopeh going back to a jungle that we've seen him play so many times.
Evelyn also available, actually. Diamondprox has been favoring that, as well as Lee Sin. I think he favors Evelyn over Lee Sin right now.
The one thing that I'm liking about this potential swap here to Tristana is that if an Evelyn or a Lee Sin is locked in and the Twisted Fate and the Shen come at you, Buster Shot can get rid of them. And I think Buster Shot is one of the most underrated abilities in the game because it is so key and vital for AD carries to have an escape. And with a rocket jump and a Buster Shot, that's two ways of saying, I'm not ready to deal with you, please leave me alone.
A lot of escape, but it seems that Vayne will be changed into not a bad either. He can tumble away. He can manage to obviously condemn them off there. Snoopeh's going to be taking Jarvan as well, which means Zyra insta-locked in that bottom lane alongside Genja's Varus. What will the final pick be? Lee Sin? Will it be Evra? Evra? Patrice Evra, maybe. It's going to be Evelyn, though.
So it is the pick that Diamond has trended towards, and you've definitely got a very well-rounded composition here from Gambit. You've got lots of damage, lots of mobility, you've got map presence, you've got split pushing, you've got wave clear. I feel like Vayne is in a lot of trouble if Yellowpete is anywhere overextended or anywhere out of position, because there are so many threats. Chain of Corruption, Taunt, Gold Card, Grasping Roots, Agonies. Every single one of the Gambit members can lock down a Vayne, and that is a scary thought.
It is a scary thought. And forget, if they are diving in, they're going to dive into Sona's Crescendo.
Very, very true. And the key is once again on Krepo to actually land 2 and 3 and 4-man Crescendos like he has been doing. We've actually seen Krepo going very, very aggressive with flash Crescendos and helping set up team fights. And I think because of this pick comp, because of this dive-in sort of team fight, I think people have been calling it the submarine, when Twitch stealths up and you throw the Stand United down. You can do something very similar with Eve. If Froggen goes down in a team fight, Requiem and Defile, as long as they're fighting on top of it, with the Crescendo, etc., will work in their favor.
Interesting that Karthus came out, and actually something that I've noticed this weekend and pretty much for the last few weeks, Anivia's not been banned against Froggen, and he's not been baiting into taking it like he used to be. I wonder if that's N-rated worth, whether he's been given an analyst saying, look guys, you're getting baited into this too often, it's not working for you anymore. It's
definitely something that's come to light. In addition to that is Froggen's Lux.
Yes.
He has not been successful with either of those champions in this current split. And with the current patches that we've been on, they just hold less of an impact on the game. You know, the burst damage and the zone control that Anivia offers is just not powerful enough. And Gambit...
Someone wake Darien up, guys. He's ready to play a game. He looks like he's well prepared for it, that's for sure. It is the tiebreaker situation, ladies and gentlemen. It is to decide the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. Currently, Fnatic, they've already beaten Ninja in Pajamas. They are through to the winner area or bracket or whatever you'd like to call it. The loser bracket is populated by Ninjas in Pajamas. The winner's match, the loser's match, that would work out, but then the loser wins the loser's match and then the loser of the winner's match.
Winner's match, loser's match.
Don't worry guys, there's brackets. You can check it out, get over on some website. I tell you what, Leaguepedia has it, that's what I'm looking at as well, so we can always talk about them. LollySports.com, that's where you want to look, really. But at the moment, you can see on your screen, Gambit. They've had a great Super Week. They went 4-1. Nobody had a perfect Super Week here in Europe.
And nobody could. Every single team picked it up when their backs were against the wall. Everybody had discounted Fnatic going into the matchup against Gambit because Fnatic simply weren't performing very well and Gambit were looking terrifying. But with Fnatic saying we are not willing to accept the seed of losing, they managed to pick up a win. Right now, though, we are jumping into the tiebreaker between Gambit and Evil Geniuses. And once again, remember that Gambit have been able to defeat EG this weekend already. So we'll see if they can replicate that success, albeit on a different side this time.
Yeah, they are as the blue side. And Evil Geniuses on your screen there, the red side, they chose to be on that red side. They won the coin toss, chose to be on red. We'll see whether it's a gamble or whether it's going to backfire on them. As it is, not going to have a great deal of level 1 fighting, maybe. I mean, we've talked about how the pressure's off the teams before in the last match. Pressure's never off in this game. This game means a lot to both these teams.
Yeah, there's a lot more, I don't want to use the word ego and pride, but it surmises the idea very well between these two teams because of the history, because of how well they know each other. That storied history is just going to continue once more in this matchup. Diamondprox is hanging out in this middle lane, and neither Gambit nor EG has gone anywhere but the river towards it all. There's a tiny bit of vision advantage for Gambit as they've got sort of that almost Wraith Camp warded.
Almost Wraith Camp. That is going to be Voidle, who did get caught out, remember, against Fnatic. Now, level 1 face check. This time, not going to go for it. There was pings on that bush, but I don't think he's going to take those fateful steps towards it. Not that there's anyone actually over there. Look what's going on with Evil Geniuses, though. We have Snoopeh sneaking in with Krepo and Pete in towards that top lane. Maybe going to go for that crazy, cheeky level 1 gank from the bush.
There's no crowd control with the exception of the exhaust that could slow Shen down. I think it's more likely they want to challenge for the blue buff. And it was over a blue buff that Evil Geniuses basically lost the game super early on. And you can see that a 3-man invade here from EG is going to try and scare Diamond and Darien away.
They're trying to put the damage down. Darien, the catch out, but Diamondprox is there. Manages to smite and flash, but he doesn't land it. And it was actually Snoopeh that got it. The flash didn't come out in time for Diamond. He had to flash away.
So in terms of the summoner spells being blown, that's something that does work in their favor. And more importantly, with the buff being stolen, Darien's Diamondprox's jungle is significantly slowed down. The question is, can Evil Geniuses respond quickly enough to defend their blue? I don't think that they can.
No, I don't think Wicked's really interested in coming up to try and contest this one either. So it will be Snoopeh getting the top buff of the Gambit. Meanwhile, Diamond turns it around and takes the blue buff of Evil Geniuses. Red buff has just been picked up by Snoopeh. We talked about how it would have slowed him down because it's going to stand him behind in jungle. And actually, if you think back to the EG Gambit game that happened before, it's kind of roles reversed. Snoopeh got engaged in the jungle and got killed early on.
Yeah, and it just snowballed out of control from there. One of the things that continued to work in Gambit's favor was Alex and Diamond tower diving and going behind turrets multiple times during the course of the game. So we'll see whether or not they do something similar in this matchup. As Snoopeh at 3 minutes 10 is hanging out in this top lane. He's got his double buffs up. And he's looking to potentially set up a gank, that 3v1 tower dive. And remember, Yellowpete died in a tower dive that was failed earlier in this matchup against a Jax. We'll see whether or not this one works out.
On Vayne, Snoopeh comes in, taking his time, gets actually taunted. Is he going to take too many tower hits? No, he's not. Can you see Yellowpete's going to get those triple rings? Tries to flash away, has to use the barrier. Close fight. They could have done better there, but EG, nevertheless, managed to get the kill. Can they get the tower? No, Diamond and Alex are coming to defend.
Darien actually managed to force out a couple extra summoner spells there by landing a very good taunt into Snoopeh and making him take turret aggro before he was ready to. Thanks to the 3v1, they've also got a lot of damage on that tower. And again, we also heard Krepo talking about just how important it is to get that HP bar low. It allows you to group up and push a little later, and it's basically guaranteed gold.
Dirty farming from Gambit here, actually, between the lanes. You can see Genja and Voidle doing a great job at zoning Wickd out. Remember when that happened before as well? He got punished early on, and Evil Geniuses never really came back from it, so he's going to need some help in this bottom lane. But look at that the top turret, taken to half hit points. That was how EG managed to start the assault. Didn't work out for them. Of course, remember on 3.10 patch, this has been buffed up, these turrets. This is why it happened. It prevents that fast push.
It slows it down, that's for sure, and that armor is now decaying. As we hit the 4-minute mark, that big boost of armor from the beginning starts to wither away until we hit 8 minutes, at which point towers will be as you're used to prior to 3.10. And a very good start from both EG and Gambit, even though there's a kill in EG's back pocket. Wickd has been denied CS and levels, and that is very, very crucial and important. Remember that at level 6, Darien is going to be much more impactful than Wickd at level 6, because Darien's got global presence.
Well, Krepo actually picked up the Siege Minion there in that top lane, so he's going to be happy with that gold. You can see he was actually putting some prowess and pressure on towards Darien. Wasn't going to get forced out of that lane. Ping's now on him saying, actually, I think Krepo's on his own here. Yellowpete doesn't seem to be nearby. Nevertheless, that gave a lot of gold to Krepo that he ordinarily wouldn't have picked up. Meanwhile, Snoopeh, he's around the blue buff right now. It's not going to be available for another 2 minutes. There's no minions anywhere in that jungle in that bottom half. He's going to have to go up. I thought he was going to maybe come down and help out Wickd, but Wickd, now that he's actually started to get those levels up, he's up to 4, actually is okay in terms of farm, but Diamond is waiting in the wings.
And it doesn't matter where Wickd plays or who he's facing, he tends to max his E, the Blades of Torment, above everything else, and then actually puts a couple of intermittent points between his Q and his W, so we'll keep tabs on how he's leveling them up. Thanks to the pressure in lane, he's actually going to go farm up that Wolf Camp and try to keep himself a little bit more relevant. Remember, they've also been buffed as far as experience and gold, thanks to 3.10.
So Snoopeh continuing to be that utility jungler that we know him as, and he's actually helping out Wickd. Now, again, another gank in the top lane. That's where they're heading. Snoopeh makes his way up there. Diamond is nowhere near this one, so we'll see whether Diamond can actually land one of those great shadow dashes, keep the taunt, keep the tower pressure on towards him, or whether there's enough damage this time around. Remember, the Vampiric Scepter in there. Darien actually hasn't built any more items than he had the first time around.
Snoopeh is about to run headlong into Diamondprox. Vision is going to be revealed, and they've jumped on Vayne.
And it's going to be Diamond they go for. The Condemn's not going to come out, but there's the Requiem. Will it buy him enough? No. Doesn't get the damage down, but they have the pressure. Twisting Fate's going to come in. Alex, can he turn the stun guard around? Yes, he can. Gets Pete down. That's going to be the AD down for simply a jungler, and that was actually a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, it's something that works out pretty well, but the kill goal did go to Vayne, and you never want to give Vayne early advantages. So even though you've traded 1 for 1, it is a good position for EG at the very least. They've successfully made a gank happen, and unfortunately for them, Alex hit level 6 super soon after they started that dive.
Voidle needs to be careful in that bottom lane. The moment that Genja shows himself in this mid lane, Wicked's going to go, what the hell? He's completely on his own. It's a support versus a top laner. He has the same level. He will go completely aggressive on him. And instead, he's just going to actually get pulled away from this one. He has got half the hit points, but he can turn around. He's got that blood well available, remember. Now he's going to realize he's on his own, and Voidle's like, yeah, just going to step away a little bit here.
Yeah, this is something we've actually seen from some of the solo lanes. Exhaust on Darien, and here comes Snoopeh.
Snoopeh's coming up the lane. He's going to try and catch on towards Darien. Exhaust already used to try and slow him down. It was a little too early from Krepo.
Yeah, in terms of that particular gank, Snoopeh was nowhere near, and he had no flash available either. So, again, no CC. Darien was not near a wall for the Condemned to work, and unfortunately, Krepo just pulling the trigger a tiny bit early in that setup. It's not the end of the world. As we are in these 2v1s, towers are still standing. It will obviously mean that it's just a little bit more of patient play until it's up and available again.
Patient play. Genja actually going for that triple Doran's Blade and the standard boots. Meanwhile, we see the Bilgewater Cutlass and Doran's Blade along with normal boots as well. Let's see what Voidle goes for. Gets himself that Philo Stone, which actually Krepo had quite a long time ago. Look at this blue invade coming on. Snoopeh's hanging around. Wants to try and get that smite in there. Diamond hanging around as well, realizing it might not be worth it. They're going to back away from this one. Alex is actually getting drawn in. Wickd dives in, tries to keep them at bay. He will just simply fend off that blue buff. Froggen really needs this one in Carthus.
So no Requiem available, and Krepo had just hit 6 there. So EG were not in a position to fight, even if they wanted to. There was no crowd control available to lock up members of Gambit and secure that fight for them. So at the end of the day, they do secure their blue buff, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, and speaking of level 6, Snoopeh's fell behind. He's been using that, playing as that support jungler. We saw Wicked taking his wolves away. We've seen him hanging around in that top lane for a long time. It's actually give Diamond a 2-level advantage over him.
Yeah, Diamondprox has just been sitting in the jungle the entire time. 36 CS picked up. That's actually the same as the solo laners of Wicked and Darien. So he's in a very good position. The one thing I want to highlight is that Krepo's been pulled down to comfort and babysit Wicked. And top lane Vayne is something you do actually see at the higher elo solo queue games, because he can do so well. Vayne is going to bully and destroy Darien as long as he does not get taunted. And right now, Darien's only working with the Ruby Crystal, so he can't really sustain through the Bilgewater Cutlass, Silver Bolt's damage.
Well, we're seeing, again, Snoopeh not being given anything. He's going very low on golems in that top lane, but he's safe. Again, his wolves are being taken away. This time, Froggen gets them. Froggen keeping that farm going. Actually, the advantage... Oh, we talked about Yellowpete. Well, he might be safe, but not when Alex Hitch comes a knocking. And that Requiem, it won't do anything. And that is going to be another kill picked up for Gambit, making it 2-2. all square and gold once again.
And that's the risk that you run when you put your AD carry in the top lane. Unfortunately, he's at risk of those Destiny ganks. And, you know, Alex, he used Destiny to beat Evil Geniuses earlier in the weekend, and he's just secured himself his second kill of the game with his second successful Destiny. It's also allowed him to put tower damage in the top lane.
Alexic is going to back away the moment he saw Froggen heading up the river. Instead, Froggen's going to take himself a Wraith instead. Wicked also taking a peek on Dragon, seeing if it was actually going to start it out. Nope, not going to get close to that one. Krepo takes a piercing arrow from Genja. And let's have a look at these AD carries. They've not really been up against each other yet. 77 CS, 78 for Genja. And obviously that's going to be a little bit lower for Pete because he's just got taken down. Chain of Corruption on towards Wicked. Followed up by Grasping Root. Uses that death path though. It's going to be the Bloodwell. Is he going to pop up in time? Doesn't matter. Krepo's going to get taken down. He's going to try and get the kill on Voidle, but it's all in vain. And Gambit get themselves a double.
No Requiem available. It's Snoopeh. He's going to find Alex.
There's the exhaust. He's going to get the layways down. He's stood in the defile. Froggen's going to make sure he doesn't go down in this engagement, which Alexic may well work out. Gets the lockup. He's still, no, not quite got the kill. Forced the flash out of Froggen.
So he manages to get that, and very good micromanagement from Alexic. Allowed him to put a lot of damage down. But thanks to the kills that's been picked up, Gambit are now starting off the Dragon at 11 minutes. Yellowpete is going to try fight. He does get taunted.
Oh, he gets taunted. But to try and tumble away from it. Snoopeh was coming down as well. The smite is available for both junglers. And, well, looks like Gambit don't fancy this one a smite fight.
Yeah, they were a little bit low, and they didn't have their AD carry in an advantageous position, nor the crowd control from Voidle. Even though they could scare Yellowpete away, it just wasn't enough. Now, Requiem is going to be available relatively soon, and with EG knowing Gambit want Dragon, they may actually try to contest this one.
Yeah, Gambit going back in for that Dragon. They are stood on top of a pink ward. They don't have any vision control to try and clear it out, but it doesn't look like Evil Geniuses are going to contest this one, so it seems Gambit will get themselves a free Dragon eventually. It's free, it's been hard fought over, contested, fought people back, pushed them away, but instead Pete and Krepo, they're having to sit and farm down the bottom lane.
Yeah, they bullied out Evil Geniuses, and thanks to the damage that they put down, they were able to secure that one up. However, first tower of the game does fall in the top lane. That is Evil Geniuses securing it. They keep themselves within 500 gold, and you know what? Yes, you've lost a Dragon, but towers do not respawn. Towers do not come back, so EG keeping themselves within touching distance of gold. More importantly, in an advantageous position because there's no tower on the top.
Yeah, keeping those objectives rolling. And we've seen that actually a lot of times from some of the Korean teams. And if I think back to someone like MVP Ozone in last season, they simply didn't go looking for fights sometimes. They just took down turrets. They just kept the objectives flowing while everybody else was focusing on the fights, and that's how they seem to slide their way into victory. Right now, Alexic's in trouble. There's going to be the Dark Path. He will get knocked up. He's going to get the Wall of Pain on him as well. He'll get dropped very quickly. Wicked doesn't have his passive available here. Diamond had to flash away, though. Was feeling strong. Darien's going to come in. Can he get the Shadow Dash? Is it going to be enough to try and take him down? Diamondprox is going to get taken out in the top there. Snoopeh picks up the kill. Wicked still manages to get away, and actually Darien went down, so he tries to get on a very low Froggen. Froggen's taken low. Genja wants to get a passive on there. Not going to get the second shot. Stranglethorns comes out. Flashed out from Genja. There we see the piercing arrow. Still not doing enough damage. EG get away with a slither of health and have the nerve to steal away the blue buff.
Wicked was life-stealing through everything. Remember that when you've got blood price on and blood, what's the second one? Nevertheless, getting the lifesteal back on your W on every third strike deals some bonus damage and massive, massive sustain. When that is actually comboed with that Bilgewater Cutlass, it allows him to get all of that additional HP back, and he's sustained through everything. There's no Sunfire Cape on Darien, so the Bloodthirst, Blood Price, whichever one gives you HP, worked in his favor.
It worked wonders for him, and honestly, the kind of just baited all of Gambit into going for it. Darien, he actually landed a great Shadow Dash. Nobody else there really to follow it up. Diamond had already spent everything, got out of there, still didn't escape. Snoopeh cleaned that one up. So now Snoopeh will feel great as well, by the way. He's 2-0-4 right now. Meanwhile, Diamond is 0-2-3.
Yeah, and something that we didn't catch on camera, but was just off to the side, Krepo actually had a very good flash crescendo that locked up members of Genja and Voidle and just bought them Evil Geniuses a little bit more time to continue with that push. Unfortunately, they did not secure a tower. So even though, yeah, they got some kills, and yeah, it was a good fight, there was no objectives gained out of it outside of stealing that blue buff on the retreats.
No. Let's have a look down the bottom. Diamond. He wants to go for the invade on the blue buff, and Evil Geniuses are ready and waiting for this time around. Froggen has to get protected for that blue buff. He will just pick that one up, no problems there.
And that's the second time in a row that Gambit have tried to take blue buff and been caught out. Look at the top lane, Wickd is dead.
Yeah, he's dead. The passive's going to get burnt, but honestly, it's not going to help him out here. It's just going to get dropped straight away. Tries to buy some time for nothing at all.
I have to be very honest with you, I have no idea what he was doing in their top lane. There is no vision in the river. There's a ward on blue buff, but, you know, a home guard, Twisted Fate can get through that very, very quickly. And there's the submarine!
There he is, on towards Diamond. They're going to try and go towards Froggen. They do manage to catch on. Cataclysm comes down. They're all locked in on top of that Defile. Is it going to be enough? Darien's going to get taken down. Froggen will go down in the process. And Darien didn't get caught. Snoopeh's now going to drop. Tries to come in, doesn't get the kill. Alex Hitch cleaning up.
Now, Froggen had actually thought Snoopeh would get Darien, so Froggen turned his attention over to Diamondprox and tried to pick up 2 kills in that situation. If he'd used a lay waste, it would have worked, but Yellow's caught.
Oh, Chain of Corruption comes back out. Piercing Arrow follows up. The Stranglethorns bounce them in the air. Krepo with the second hit of the Chain of Corruption nearly locked him up as well.
There was no Crescendo available because of that mid lane fight, and once Voidle and Genja stacked their CC, there was nowhere to go. That is the exact thing that I was a little bit scared about when Yellowpete picked in Vayne. If he'd had a Tristana there, he could have busted shots at Varus away, could have rocket jumped over the Stranglethorns, but was not the case, and unfortunately, he just got popped like a balloon.
And it is Gambit now with the lead. After such a great turnaround, great fight by Evil Geniuses, they've just effectively gifted it with some pretty sloppy fair play.
Yeah, it's something that I can't quite understand, because the bottom lane was just straight up being caught, right? The bottom lane, Genja and Voidle, they chained their CC and they won a 2v2. However, you know, I can't understand what Wickd was doing in the top lane. I can't understand why he was so overextended without vision, without any global presence away from that Rec Room. There's no teleport, there's no Twist of Fate, there's no Shen on his team. So he needs to play a little bit more cautiously in these next couple of minutes.
It seems like he's just simply, because he's far ahead of Darien, he feels like he's just trying to create everything. And Gambit are reading him like a book. Snoopeh puts that ward down, it's going to get cleared out very quickly. They didn't have time to try and clear that one out. They are trying to focus on this middle turret. They want to start getting the objectives down, which all credit to Evil Genius they do need to do, but Gambit are in place every time.
And there's 2 reasons for this. Dragon's up in about a minute time. Well, thank you for that one. And they're focusing the 5-man in the middle turret so they can either get the tower and go Dragon, or have the better position in the Dragon fight. Remember, both teams have got very good area of effect crowd control. Cataclysm plus Crescendo are terrifying if they both land. And on the same token, Agony's Embrace plus Stranglethorns are terrifying as well.
EG trying to zone out, keep Gambit at bay to buy themselves a little bit more time to get on towards that turret. But look at Gambit, they're collapsing it around it. Darien contemplating going
Gambit
in there.
want this fight.
Be dangerous. They do want this fight, and EG may get surrounded. There's wildcards not finding their targets. EG just going to stand this one out.
The best way for an Eve to engage is when you come in from the side, when you come in from the flank. Catch 3, 4, 5 members in your ultimate and follow that up with a Chain of Corruption. Now, Evil Geniuses are split. This could be the moment for Gambit to try to initiate.
Yeah, Yellowpete took that piercing arrow. You can see he's already been knocked low. Dragon just spawns just on the right time. And you can see that Evil Geniuses are going to start this one out. I'm not too sure this is a great idea.
Now we do see there's the Chain of Corruption.
Chain of Corruption comes in, Piercing Arrow follows it up, Crescendo comes, but it's not going to be enough to save Yellowpete. They do lock down Alex Hitch, catching on towards it. Froggen dives in there, tries to put that Defile down. Locked up, no. Cataclysm doesn't find his home. Genja's going to get away with this one. Stand United working wonders, and that saves him out there. Evil Genius is coming out there 1 for 3 right now. They're going to get Voidle down. Can they turn it on towards Diamond? The passive will come poking through. Krepo and Snoopeh are going to back away from this one.
A 2 for 3 at the end of the day, and Gambit should be able to pick up Dragon if they roll backwards. They're not finished chasing though. Darien is thinking about Flash Taunt!
Flash Taunt on towards Krepo, Piercing Arrow follows it up. Snoopeh tries to buy time, he's on the turret, but now he's taken low, and that turret's going to drop as well. He has to back away. It's a 4 for 1 in the end, and Piercing Arrow will get the double kill for Genja.
Genja is going mad right now. 503, triple Doran's Blades plus Bloodthirster is more than enough damage at this stage in the game. And I've been looking at that triple Doran's, wondering when the power spike is, wondering how do you make it work? And the question is, run at Evil Geniuses. Pick fights and channel that piercing arrow. Now, Yellowpete wants an extra kill, but this is going to be a 2 versus very low HP. That's a flash!
Darkflight catches on towards Genja, takes him very low. Remember, it's going to be a shutdown bonus. There it is. It's Wickd that picks it up. He gets the Bloodwell passive. That's a good condemn. Straight on towards Darien. They tried to turn it around. Big Knight may be enough to take him down, but Alexic, he's trying to pull a card, but he's stood on top of a ward. Pete gets a massive burst of damage. Flashes on towards it through that wall of pain. He's going to tumble in there. One more shot, not going to be enough. Froggen wants to follow it up, gets the layways down. Yes, he gets the kill. And that, just like that, is exit frags picked up by Evil Geniuses.
Evil Geniuses need to grab a tower off this one to balance out the global goal of losing the mid tower and losing the bottom tower. Voidle is sticking around while you can see Diamondprox trying to lifesteal a little bit off these jungles. Krepo even steals them away.
Steals the golems away under the nose of Diamondprox. Won't be happy with that one. There is the turret, and that is the trade that Evil Geniuses required, because they went 4 for 1, and suddenly they tumble it back around.
And I'm so happy you used that word, because there was one thing that allowed Evil Geniuses to secure the tower, the kills, the red buff, and it was Yellowpete tumbling out of the way of Darien's taunt. If he had been locked up, there would have been enough damage to come out from the rest of the team. And right now, EG are trying to turn their attention to this very juicy mid lane tower.
They may be able to get on towards it. Only it's going to take a couple of shots, but Gambit are reacting. They get in there to defend, and Evil Geniuses, they're back into status quo. This is where it all began. Everybody clutched and grouping on towards that middle turret.
Yeah, and it was the middle tower that led to the dragon fight, and right now there's no other objective up. You can see that Diamondprox is securing the blue buff for his team, and you can see that Froggen with his death cap and his Rod of Ages completed, he's already picked up his blue buff. So that's a very scary Karthus at this stage. A lot of damage to follow up from. However, there's no blood wall available for Wickd if a fight were to break out.
Evil Geniuses, they're going to get surrounded. Will they have enough? They're going to take the turret down this time around. Alex's coming, Genja's coming around the backside of him. Diamondprox even, they're going to catch on towards Wickd. He hasn't got his passive available this time. Chain of Corruption lands beautifully. Snoopeh's going to get locked up. He gets taken down. It's a 2 for 0. There's going to be Destiny. Can they lock up Evil Geniuses? Will he go for Froggen? No, not going to get in time and not going to throw out the wild card.
Snoopeh missed his Dragon Strike. Demacian standing combo. The flag and drag was not enough to save his life in that situation. And EG, they get a tower, but they lose 2 in reply. And with all the vision that Gambit's going to take control of right now, it may set them up for future invades onto the blue buff.
21 minutes gone, we've got 28 kills. Where is CLG EU, and what have you done with them Evil Geniuses? Because this is another crazy match from them, and Gambit, they are fueling the flames.
In terms of crazy, chaotic, kill-heavy matches, Gambit are always going to have the advantage because they've played so many more of them. It fits the playstyle so well. See hero, kill hero, if you go all the way back to the beginning of last year. And that's basically what Gambit are doing here right now. Every single time EG have grouped up, Diamondprox has gone for the flank, he's gone for the surround, and he's thrown down that Agony's Embrace. And then, to be very honest, he has run away and allowed the rest of Gambit to fight. But that's his job. He's meant to be the distraction. He's meant to look for opportunities and exploit them when they arrive.
Red buff for Snoopeh as he clears that one out. Farming prowess from Froggen and Alexic is off the chart right now. They continue to keep those waves cleared. Alex has actually stepped up to this top lane every single time he's had a chance to. Destiny not available yet, and he actually may be able to get his turret down, but Voidle's been caught out. Krepo and Wickd trying to catch him in there, trying to do the damage. Froggen came around, but that is the top turret going down. Snoopeh's trying to lock up Alexic here, trying to buy time. Wickd was coming around that they realized that Diamond may be close. And
in terms of that particular setup, Krepo burned a flash and a crescendo in that particular thing. He was hoping that Wicked's damage was a little higher, but it didn't work out for them. Right now, Alex and Diamond are going to turn the tables on those who were looking to gank them, as now they're just running freely across the Evil Geniuses jungle. They're not afraid to invade. They're not afraid to just run wherever they please.
Every time Wicked's had that Bloodwell available, the passive, it's just had it burn. It's been popped every time. It seems to be, they go very aggressive when he gets it. If you remember rightly though, Wicked, he builds tanky, he builds aggressively, and he uses that Massacre to take turrets down. He doesn't generally use it in the fights. He uses it to just burn the turrets down. Obviously, he's going to use it in the fight if he is given the opportunity. But this is a split push method that Evil Geniuses may try and use.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to remember is just how heavy that attack speed increase is. If you have a fully stacked Bloodwell and you activate Massacre, I believe it's around 110% total bonus attack speed that you gain. So you combine that with a little bit of additional attack damage, and you shred through towers. It's how Evil Geniuses beat ninjas in pajamas. In this game, though, Wicked has not been allowed to split push, and the time that he tried, he was killed by Alexic's Destiny. So what Wickd needs to do is get more items, get more tanky, that he can survive those ganks. Because right now, EG's just looking for members of Gambit. They're looking for a fight.
Gambit trying to strangle out the blue buff, I feel, from Froggen. And Evil Genius is responding in kind. They are keeping them at bay, and Evil Geniuses are trying their best to stop them getting towards it. They are just going to clear out this middle wave. Gambit buy themselves time. Let's take a moment, since we do have a small break in the play, to look across the items. Alex, well, we've seen Twisted Fates played twice. I'd say twice. It's twice by Alex, twice by Peke, I believe, this weekend. And actually, pretty much identical builds.
Yeah, in terms of the itemization, I do think that in the playoff games that we've just seen today and tonight, the Boots of Swiftness have not been secured in favor of more damage. And Alex actually picked up Home Guard Sork Shoes as his first item, and then followed that into Lich Bane, and now the ability power. So it's definitely something can work into his favor. And with all the vision that Evil Geniuses have in the top of the map, they're starting this dragon because Alex needs to use Destiny. He's going to be here a little bit late, but they've split up. Is
it going to be enough? They're going to wait for that crescendo. They can't lock it up. There's going to be the Dark Path diving in. Crescendo on towards Voidle and Alex. That's going to lock up one. Will it be a send up for a second? No. Krepo goes down. Wicked trying desperately to run away from this one. Hasn't got enough. His Dark Passage, his Bloodwell's been taken down. Genja's taken low. He gets dropped, but it's Gambit that are coming out on top. Yellowpete trying desperately to work on there, but it's a double for Diamond. Tries to get it towards Froggen. Froggen doesn't have any mana available, and Gambit are going to force him away. It was a 4-for-3 engage on Dragon.
And Diamondprox stole the Dragon away with Smite. He was able to get in there and grab that one. Maybe it wasn't even Smite, but he stole it. That's the point. So Dragon goes to Gambit. Team fight goes to Gambit. Crescendo, #1, did not hit Alex. He Zhonya's it up and was not affected by the stun. It only caught Voidle. Even though Yellowpete was able to get a good condemn onto Alex afterwards, it simply wasn't enough. And very crucially, Karthus did not die. Froggen was not in the middle of everyone. He didn't go down. He didn't get Requiem off. That would have been a game changer. Unfortunately, Froggen escaped, and it meant that his team were unable to win the team fight.
Wow, this game, 21-14 so far. This could be going on for a long one. It's been a pretty aggressive one. I do recall seeing tweets from Evil Geniuses a couple of weeks back now when they were talking about their practice scrims with Gambit. And they did mention that they had over 100 kills in one of those games. Could we be heading that way?
We're well on target for that average. At 35 kills at 25 minutes, and the average game time of Evil Genius is approaching the 50-minute mark. I definitely think this can work in their favor. Right now, EG is stacked up in this mid lane. They've got all 3 outer towers down, and they're looking for a way to press. There's a Destiny soon for Alex, but if he doesn't back away soon, he could be jumped on.
Yeah, his Destiny is not available. It will be up very shortly, like you said. Blue buff, I think, is the target, and they may be trying to bait out a Baron. They realize that Destiny is not going to be available. It's going to be up any second now. So we'll see whether they go for it. Look at Gambit, though. They're collapsing in. All the death pushes there. Is it going to be enough? There's the Destiny. I'm not going to be able to lock on towards it. And look at Diamond. He gets a great ultimate there. He has to try and jump away. He gets shut down by Snoopeh. So Wicked's keeping them at bay at the side there. Alex is using the Zhonya's a little bit too early. He's going to get locked up. Chain of Corruption comes out. Froggen survives it. It does manage to passively across everyone. But Evil Genius has picked up 2 kills.
Nobody else from Gambit committed to that fight. Diamond jumped in there. Shen was running away. There was no Stand United available. And unfortunately for Alex, he teleported in right next to his dead comrade. And as Diamond went down, a 5-man EG just said, oh, thanks very much. We'll definitely take those dice off you, Twisted Fate. And right now, a 5-man EG turning their attention to Baron.
Gambit cancelling their teleports. They realize it. Oh, they've caught Darien out. They're going to lock him up completely. Crescendo comes out. Requiem used. It's Froggen that picks up the kill. Now they are in a 2v5 situation. Diamond, though, has respawned, and EG are still very low on this Baron.
Strangle Thorns is available, and it's early in the game, but they've caught Voidle.
They've caught him, and the Baron's still attacking out the side here. It's on towards Wicked. Yellowpete taking incredibly low. He's going to have to try and lifesteal much he can. All the hail of arrows coming out from the piercing arrow. Not going to find his target. Evil Genius is playing, dicing with death here. Can they get the Baron down? Yes, they can. Diamond was oh so close to getting in and stealing.
Yellowpete was able to just lifesteal off thanks to having that Phantom Dancer and Blade of the Ruined King. This now swings the power back in favor of Evil Geniuses. However, they are still 5,000 gold behind. They are behind on Dragons. They are behind on a little bit of CS, actually. However, Snoopeh is the one that really needs to make up for some of this lost CS in the mid-game. But Baron will definitely help that out. The statistics it gives you We've talked about it a million times. You know how good that is.
It is a great buff for them to have, and continued aggression, as I mentioned, it just keeps going. And we talked to actually, ironically, with Snoopeh, with Krepo on the analysis desk just a couple of games ago about that Baron fight, how teams get drawn in towards it, and he's like saying it tends to break the siege. There was no siege. EG just went there. It was a moment of opportunity.
And one of the things that doesn't play into EG's favor, they've got a short-range AD carry, 2 melees. If they want to siege up towers, they need to get past Piercing Arrow wave clear and Wildcard wave clear, which is very, very difficult to do. In addition to that, if you tower dive against a Zyra, you're just going to get knocked up. Now, take a look at Diamondprox. He's coming in from the side. This is the gang.
Tries to get in there. There's Alex Hitch. He's going to come into Zed Destiny and Zhonya straight away. Chain of Corruption's going to catch all of Evil Geniuses. Alex Hitch just gets melted in there. Snoopeh's taking all the front-loaded damage, and Diamond, he's going to be taken very low. Darien will drop down here. Snoopeh continues to chase, tries to bait them towards him. It's a double kill so far. That's 3. Gambit are absolutely melted. Not too sure why they engaged on a Baroned up Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, and the engage was sloppy to begin with. Nobody from Gambit was there quickly enough. They were unable to get together and unable to group up at the right time, so it just did not work out for them. We didn't even see Stranglethorns going down. Voidle has that available, and after picking up Baron, a bunch of kills, they've now managed to secure the inhibitor.
Well, Evil Geniuses may try and push through and finish this one, and at least get a singular Nexus turret, because they have still 15 seconds on the death timers. That's going to be one Nexus turret going down. Froggen dives himself in there. Crescendo misses its target, but it doesn't matter, because it's the Nexus turrets that they are focusing on. They're going to catch one down. They're going to get the second down. Voidle desperately trying to pick up kills. He may actually get them, but it doesn't matter. The Nexus turret going down. Yellowpete's going to be the focus target, but look at the Nexus. It's going down. Evil Geniuses have beaten Gambit. They're through to the winner bracket against Fnatic. You see what it means to them. That is going to secure them potentially second place.
I have never seen Froggen that elated on stage. He was screaming his lungs out. I thought he was Spanish for a second at the volume he was getting up to, but a well-earned victory. They finished the split